I hope it's not jumpy on your side. Good evening. I'm Christina. I'm here with you for the next 45 minutes to an hour. We'll see how we feel. The time to sit together and breathe and tune in to our innermost wisdom and to move and then to come back again to connect. So find yourself in a seated position. Find yourself seated with your sits bones grounded. Your spine tall, your crown extended, your shoulders relaxed and settling back into their shoulder pockets. I'm watching the camera seems a little glitchy, so I really hope that this is not impacting what you're experiencing. So let's just sit together or by ourselves and close our eyes. Find yourself grounded. Your legs can be folded into a cross-legged posture. They can be extended. Whichever position allows you to feel centered and grounded. So let's take a moment and get ourselves together here. This practice tonight is for all the mamas who are expecting, all the mamas who may have recently had just birthed their baby, have found themselves at home, perhaps feeling more isolated than they would like. This is an opportunity to connect virtually, however energetically we can do this together. I can clearly remember in the birth of my first daughter, almost 14 years ago, those final moments of needing to find that strength. And I clearly remember calling in mentally the women that had birthed before me, my grandma, my mom, my aunties. And it gave me strength, and it gave me the energy that I needed. So I really, truly believe, even at this time, as we are all separated and yet connecting virtually, but energetically, I feel like we can really, truly connect from our heart. And so let's try that now. Let's sit. Let's put our hands over one another on our heart center, perhaps one over our belly, one over our heart center, and connect. Connect with yourself. Honoring this time that you've given yourself and your baby for your own well-being, for your baby's well-being. Just allow the inhales and exhales to get a little bit longer while maintaining that softness. The softness in our shoulders and in our face, while breathing in deep to the lower lungs, expanding the abdomen, and breathing into the mid and upper lungs. And exhaling from top to bottom. Noticing the pause at the top of the inhale and at the bottom of the exhale. Noticing the contents of your mind, possibly the to-do list, whatever it is, just allowing those thoughts to pass and coming to be here in this moment. Breathing deeply in and out. Slightly changing the shape of your mouth to create a slightly open lips and pursed, as if you're breathing out through a straw. Noticing the length of the exhalation as your abdomen comes pulled in at the end of the exhale, the end of your breath, and inhaling deep. And exhaling long and slow, feeling more relaxed and more present. a great breath to practice when you need to calm your nervous system, calm yourself, move from a reactive place to a more responding and present place. I could have used that today, but I didn't. And that's why it's called yoga practice. And we practice and practice, and we practice the breath, we practice being present in the moment, and in hope that we can integrate that and be in the now more often than not. Okay, moving our hands away, we'll warm up a little, do some movements, and then we'll close. So if you're sitting cross-legged and you feel comfortable open your legs as wide as feels comfortable. Again, with your pregnant bodies, being really mindful, with your postpartum bodies, wherever you're at. Just really listening as we move in some gentle circles in one direction. Being mindful of how we move, how our bodies feel. And then the other direction, maybe dipping your shoulder a little bit. Just softening in your hip area. Maybe your legs are feeling tight. And let's do that one more time, the other direction. And then one more time in the opposite direction. And then back to neutral. And this time as we breathe our arms, as we inhale, we'll bring our arms up and over and exhale forward and fall. Inhale up, sitting tall, arms extend. Inhale up, exhale forward. Inhale, come back in to center and sitting tall. We'll inhale our arms up. Exhale as we move forward, hands forward. Inhale, bring them towards you. And exhale into as you sit neutral. As we inhale our arms up and turn towards our right, bringing our left hand in the middle, between our legs, turning slightly over towards our right shoulder. A gentle twist here, taking a full breath, and then exhaling back to neutral. And we'll do that one more time on the other side, inhaling our arms halfway. The camera looks really glitchy. I really hope you're looking over our left shoulder. And then back to neutral. So I'm just going to get up and move this back a little bit. I'm not sure what the reason is. I don't know. I'm hoping that it's just on my end and not on yours. I will carry on. If you need to send me a message because this didn't work for you, please do so. Okay, so let's bring our feet together. Let's bring our feet sole to sole. Knees drop to the side. If they're up here, down, holding onto your ankles, finding that. And then we'll just do a little inhale, straight back. Exhale, round around that beautiful belly of yours. Inhale, extend. Try not to bring up your shoulders. Try to keep them relaxed, or at least bring them down. And exhale, rounded back. You've probably noticed how your body position has changed. Carrying baby. And so these little micro movements give you some insight into the positioning or where you might need to create a little bit more space, where you might be holding some tension. Beautiful. And let's cross our legs. And we'll warm up our neck, right ear to right shoulder. Head neutral on the inhale, left ear to left shoulder. Back to neutral. Right ear again to right shoulder. And back to neutral. And again, just kind of rolling over in this cross-legged position, noticing any areas of tightness or tension. And if you find that, just maybe rolling back and forth over that area. And then continue, and then change directions. As mamas hold a lot in our hips. Beautiful. And then let's find ourselves moving to table position. Slowly moving, only because we want to continue to be aware of this present moment, and coming out of postures can be just as relevant and important as going into. So in our tabletop position, our hands are shoulder width apart, our knees are hip width apart. You're looking down into your beautiful reflection, and your back is neutral. And as you inhale, bringing your crown towards the ceiling, your tailbone curves towards the top of the ceiling as well, creating a rounded back, a scooped back, and then exhaling, and this being a rounded back. Inhale again, crown towards the ceiling, tailbone sacrum towards the ceiling. Exhaling, rounding back, rounding around your belly, head drops, pressing into your hands as you create that rounded back. And again, find your own rhythm here. Feel the space created by this movement. And then join back into neutral. And we'll do a slight C curve. So looking over your right shoulder, your right hip towards your right shoulder. And then exhale back to neutral. Inhale, left hip just slightly towards the left shoulder as your head looks over and your shoulder towards your left hip. Back to neutral. It's a slight movement. So again, right hip turns towards the right shoulder as you look over your right shoulder, just slightly, and then back to neutral. And again on the other side. And you can just feel that little space as you wiggle your bottom. Pressing into your hands. If your wrists are sore, some mamas experience some wrist carpal tunnel, so you can issues. So you can be on your forearms, and let's move again into a just rolling around, using our hips, creating some space. You may want to open your knees wider. And then going into the opposite direction. And coming back up. So back into our table, we'll move through a slight flow of thread the needle. So again, if your wrists are sore, you can be on your forearms and do this from a different level. So we're going to inhale as we reach up towards the ceiling and come through on the exhale underneath our shoulder to the floor, and then inhaling once again up towards the ceiling, and repeat that, exhaling through, inhaling up towards the ceiling, exhaling through, and this time stay here. And again, adjusting, but stay here with your shoulder. Your right shoulder is pressed onto the mat. Your knees are wide. Your hips are up. Your chin is slightly turned towards your chest. And breathe. And then coming back up into neutral. We'll do the other side. So extending your left arm up on the inhale, under and through on the exhale. Inhaling up towards the ceiling, coming under and through on the exhale. And one more time, inhale up towards the ceiling, being aware and mindful of how far and how deep you can go, and staying here. Hips are wide and high, knees are bent, shoulder is resting on the floor, chin is turned in towards the chest. And then pressing back into neutral. I'm so reminded when I do those exhalations with a slight sigh, how much of a nice release that is. And I suppose, I guess, what I hope from these practices with you all is just a reminder for yourself, for me, Just coming into ourselves and just breathing and just letting go. Okay, here we are. So this time we're going to extend our right leg on our inhale. Extend it far back. Foot is active. Exhale. So again, inhale and exhale, curve in, bring your knee towards your chest. Obviously just as far as feels good. Extending and exhaling. Knee towards chest. Extend again. And bring your knee towards your chest, and then bringing your knee back down to neutral. And we'll do the other side. Extending with our left leg active on the inhale. Exhale, round it back, pressing, bringing our knee towards our chest, pressing back. Exhale. Inhale. And then back to neutral. And let's do our hip rolls again in one direction, seeing if you have more space, more fluidity, or maybe more sensation now that we've loosened things up a little bit, and finding that and breathing into that space. Changing direction. And then back into neutral. And this time, as we extend our right leg back, we're going to bring it across behind the left leg. And our foot, the right foot, you're on your front, like the ball of your foot, and just kind of moving, rocking back and forth here. Create a little bit of space on the outer hip. Again, if you need to be on your forearms, this also works. Being mindful of moving through those modifications as well. And then back to neutral. So engaging your pelvic floor also. And extending that left foot, crossing over behind. And pressing into the ball of that foot and moving forward and back. And then back into neutral. And again, maybe a few hip rolls. And moving the opposite direction. And this time, as we move from neutral, you have active feet. I feel like that will give you more stability. And coming up onto your knees. Bringing your hands behind you. Just giving some space into that heart center. Reaching behind. Clasping your fingers together. If you have that within you, otherwise try holding your wrists. In this kneeling, your knees may need to be wider. And just staying tall with an open heart. And then bringing your hands to your side. As we transition to standing, you may choose to bend a knee, pressing into the floor, opening up and coming up as we stand. And let's do a few standing warrior poses, then we'll come back down. This is still looking glitchy. I really hope that on your end it doesn't look like this. I don't know why. Okay. I feel like I should be like dancing, but that's not what we want me to do. Okay. Standing at the top of your mat, however you are positioned in your space, feet are close together as we bring our hands to heart center and stepping back slowly, mindfully, and with balance onto the ball of our right foot. Mamas, be mindful of the space you may need between your feet. Your feet may need to be wider on the mat to create that sense of balance. Your left foot is planted onto the mat, your left knee over your left ankle, no further, bringing it back, and you're pressing into both feet as you're holding yourself into this upright position, extending our arms overhead. Turn that right foot on an angle. Hips are facing the length of your mat. That front leg is still bent, knee over ankle. And as you extend your arms to shoulder level into warrior two, your back foot is pressing, your front foot is pressing down, and your arms are extended, looking over that front hand. Bending that left arm, leaning towards your left leg. Extend your right arm above to as far that feels good. Again, mindful of this space. If you need to be a little bit more upright, you may want to put your hand on your hip. You're feeling that strength in your leg and that opening on the right side. Pressing into your foot as you come up, straightening that front leg, turning it towards, both feet are now towards facing the length of the mat into 5-point pointed star. It's still glitchy. I really do hope it's not on your end. As you come forward for the pregnant mamas, soften your knees, extend with your sternum reaching forward as you fold at your hips. Your hands may be farther in front, your back may be flat. If it feels okay to fold a little deeper, go ahead, but again, be mindful and just find that space in your hips. As you come up, engage your core. Place your hands, you may bend your knees and pressing into your feet as you come up. And then we're going to turn the other direction. So your right foot is now forward. Your back foot is slightly turned. Your right knee is bent. And we'll move into warrior two first. Extending our arms at shoulder level. Hands are active as they are extending towards the opposite direction. Looking over your front hand, your right knee above the ankle. And then reaching forward slightly, bringing that bent, your right forearm to your right knee as you extend your left arm overhead or here on your hips. Looking down or up towards your hand if you have that available. And then pressing back up. Turning. You might have to adjust a little bit. I'm going to adjust with my front leg. And so that I'm now square to the top of the mat with my left foot. I'm on the ball of my left foot. Pressing into my right. Again, you may need to be a bit wider. And pressing up into warrior. Bringing your arms down and slightly just adjust and bring your front leg together. At this moment, just bring your hands to the side, standing in warrior, palms facing out, eyes can be closed. Bring your attention and your awareness to your third eye, the space between your eyebrows. Coming inward and focusing on that area. Creates an inward focus that's calming, centering, and a quieting occurs. When you're ready, you may open your eyes. And for tonight, I think we will find our way back instead of doing any balancing postures, but feel free. But we'll find our way back to the floor slowly. I'm going to sit cross-legged because I don't fully trust that glitchy camera is just on my end. So I would find that a bit distracting if I were you. It's a little bit distracting being me, but I'm moving through it. But anyhow, I don't want us to be balancing and it's like you think I'm doing something trickier than I actually am because of this glitchy camera angle. Okay, here we are. Just have a seat here. Let's roll again in this seated position. You may or may not notice any changes from when you started. Hopefully you can feel a little bit of space, changing directions. That you feel things a little bit differently. Bringing our legs out in front, giving them a little shake. Using your fists or your hands, whatever, and just giving some like tapping, some love taps, some circulation, shaking your legs, thanking your legs, thanking your feet for holding you up. And let's just do that. Let's bring our feet in together, soul to soul, and just pressing on our non-pedicured feet. And just sending some appreciation and gratitude towards our feet that carry us. For those mamas that are pregnant, there's added beautiful weight that the feet absorb. Some of you may have noticed that already, the changes. So just paying attention. This is a great I'm contemplating using the word exercise or activity. So as I'm talking, just take your thumbs, moving them into the arch of the feet, moving up towards your toes, pulling on your toes. But I was going to say, this is something that you and your partner could do. Ankles too. Mostly this being done to you. But sometimes it requires a little giving to show what you really need. It's really, about the right pressure and circulation, and it's a nice way to start together. Just bring your legs crossed over. Whether it's, and let's just roll our wrists. Hand massages, feet massage, foot massage is a nice place to come together as partners during pregnancy for, a few reasons. Connection, oxytocin, all that good stuff. But also just to be able to communicate pressure and preference. If your partner is going to be your sole support person, and during this time, most hospitals are allowing one person, so it's just a good time to maybe talk about what feels good. Because what feels good for someone is different for someone else. So getting some hand cream, trying it out, it's not going to do any harm. I really encourage you, if you can, to settle into a Shavasana position, propped up. For the pregnant mummies, obviously propped up. You can sit open. I know many of you don't probably sleep on your back, but there is a way to be on your back and upright that doesn't put the same pressure if you were lying on your flat on your back. So playing with that a little bit, because sometimes too, mamas feel some heartburn, and that upright position can be very comforting as well. So you prop up yourself with some pillows. If you're doing Shavasana, you can extend your feet. I have nothing behind me I'm using. And your arms can be open, your head supported. You have a pillow underneath your knees, and just drop in. Sorry. Just drop in. Let your body feel held. And every night before you settle in, you can even try a little bit of that, like a squeeze and release, where you squeeze your hands, you squeeze your feet, maybe your legs, and then you release. And then release even more. Just moving that tension through, really settling in. Taking a few breaths here. If you are in Shavasana, stay in Shavasana for as long as feels comfortable. In this lineage of yoga that I've been trained in, we close with Jai Bhagwan. And may the spirit be victorious. Also namaste, the light in me creates the light in you. Thank you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for the time that you've taken for yourself. And I encourage you to do so as often as you can, as you have a very important role in this world, mamas.